and welcome to one of Mark's whiskey ramblings here in his whiskey basement in Belgium. Today I would like to tell you a little bit more about Littlemill Distillery. Now, Littlemill Distillery can be found in Bowling in Dunbartonshire, which is of course in the Lowlands. And it's probably on the short list of oldest distilleries in Scotland because originally Littlemill was built in 1772. Now, I say originally, there's not a lot of records to prove that that is indeed the date at which it was built. But we do know that it was rebuilt in 1875, so still it's an old distillery. It closed from 1989 until 1994 for modernizations, but unfortunately in 2004 it was closed indefinitely. So Littlemill is actually a lost distillery, you could say. And much like its cousin Auchentoshan, which still triples distill every drop of spirit they make, they used to do triple distillation as well at Littlemill, but they only did that up until 1935. Like I said, in 2004 it closed indefinitely. It is owned by Loch Lomond Distilleries, who also owns Loch Lomond Distillery, but also Glen Scotia in the region of Campbelltown. And they had plans to reopen Littlemill, well, not really as a distillery, but as a museum, which is an interesting idea. Unfortunately, in 2004, what was left of Littlemill Distillery was ravaged by a fire, and now the distillery is nothing more but a ruin. And some even say that the fire was set deliberately. Well, we'll never know. But anyway, the idea of reopening the Littlemill Distillery is probably a foregone idea. It's probably to be put on hold indefinitely. It will probably never happen. Now, when Loch Lomond acquired Littlemill Distillery, they did some experiments. Apart from Littlemill whiskey, they also created a very peated malt with the name of Dumbuck, and also another unpeated malt, Dunglass. Now, unfortunately, the experiments didn't last long, which means that those two bottles are very hard to come by. If you can find one, you're very lucky. But apart from that, of course, they make Littlemill whiskey as well. Now, I have to say, their original or their standard range, the official releases are an 8-year-old and a 12-year-old like this one. I'll be completely honest, I'm not too fond of them. They are a bit lacking in depth, lacking in character. Perhaps they're just too young. Perhaps Littlemill is a spirit that needs age, that needs more maturation. So if you want a good Littlemill, but I mean a very good Littlemill, and they are very good, then you would have to look at the independent bottlers like Gordon MacPhail or Duncan Taylor or the German Malts of Scotland. I have here, for example, a bottle of Littlemill 1990 from Malts of Scotland. Malts of Scotland is known mostly for bottling single casks at cask strength, and that's what they did here as well. This one, for example, is a Littlemill 1990. It was distilled on the 8th of January 1990, and it was bottled on the 5th of May 2010. So it's basically 20 years old. It's bottled at a cask strength of 53.9%. That's already a very nice cask strength, isn't it? What's special about this bottle is that it was released in the club's range for a whiskey club, obviously. In this case, the Fulldram Whisky Club in Leuven, which is in Belgium. So a couple of people that I know have selected this cask 736, a bourbon cask, and they've selected this to have it bottled as a club bottling Littlemill. And I would like to try it today because, well, I've tried it before, as you can see, and it is, you'll see. Hang on, hang in there. Bear with me. It's a very good Littlemill. I'm very fond of this bottling. It's very strong though, but I have to say, I've tried it before without water, and I do believe that it doesn't need water. When I tried it with water, it loses a bit of the punch, and it does not really need it. Now, let's have a look at this Littlemill 20-year-old. Sunlight colour, 53.9% ABV. Ah, and there we go. Party time. Yeah, I'm sorry, but this really makes me very happy. It is fruity, it is waxy, but very fruity, but I mean extremely fruity. Ah. It's fresh and subtle, it's got some vanilla and marzipan, but the fruit is amazing. There's melon and lime, there's pineapple, a lot of grapefruit in there. You need to take your time with this one, maybe even give it some hand warmth to open it up, you know. It goes from one fruit to the other, you know, the whole spectrum, a whole basket of fruit. I imagine myself that this Littlemill is on a fruity freeway, but it can't decide which exit to take, you know. But in the end, it does take the grapefruit exit. That's the main note here. But it is very, very complex, it's very fruity. You're going to love this. It's very exotic. Ah, wonderful. The palate then. Again, fruity. You can taste the high ABV, but fruit. Oh, creamy. It's to use a German word, wunderbar. It's got all the fruits that you've got on the nose as well. They all come back on the palate, tingling in your mouth. There's grapefruit is in the lead, definitely grapefruit, but it's perfectly balanced with the wood. There are definitely some woody notes in there, even a slight smokiness, no peat smokiness, mind you, some wood smoke, you know, from the cask. But it's perfectly balanced with the fruit. This is absolutely stunning whiskey. There's a bitter lining and a soft smokiness, but don't put water in here. It really does not need it. God, I love this whiskey. Oh, this is so good. The finish is, it's more of the same. You might say, well, then it's not very complex, is it? Because it's all the same. But it is. It doesn't need anything else. It's just right. It's perfect. This is pretty amazing whiskey. I love it. It's phenomenal. This is phenomenal whiskey. If ever you can get your hands on a bottle of this, I'm sure there are not many left. There are only 183 to begin with. But if you can still find it, well, then you will want to try it. This is an amazing whiskey. The finish. It is just great. It's bittersweet. It fades gently, but it lasts forever, and it has a spicy depth. This is an absolutely stunning Littlemill, and it's probably, dare I say it, it's probably one of the best Littlemills I've ever tasted. Wow. Wow. And it's only 20 years old. Well, only. I mean, I've had quite a few Littlemills, even some older Littlemills, but this is. Try to get one of these. Yeah, get one of these. This is amazing. You'll want it. Wonderful. Right. Well, that's it for this whiskey rambling. I'm sorry if I overdid it a bit, but this is the kind of whiskey that makes me happy. So yeah. Until we meet again at our next whiskey rambling. Until then, may the malt be with you.